Hello everyone. This video is for those people who feel like they do not belong wherever they are, whether your own family, your friend circle, your siblings, your teachers, your colleagues. There are people on earth, especially if you're feeling like a lone wolf always. Even when you are with people, it drains your energy too much. You don't want to pretend, so you don't feel like you belong with those people. Their interest, even with the good people, you do not necessarily to be with the selfish and pushy, negative kind of a people. Even if you're with the good people, it doesn't feels like you belong there. Many people who feel that way, that they never felt belonged on earth. It felt like it felt like we came from somewhere else, not from earth. Have deeper emotions, values, happiness, loyalty, companionship over flaky, superficial things. Have a deeper understanding of what life is, what love is, whether it's you know actual reality or not. Have a sentimental value towards something that's even if it is looks like a smallest of the things. For example, keeping that thing that somebody gave you, even if it is the smallest of the thing, because it reminds you that that person loved you, cared for you. That love, that affection, that care, it matters to you more than if somebody embroiders something and give it to you, even if it's just a small handkerchief, it will value you more than somebody giving you, I don't know, a lot of money or something like that. So if you're some kind of person, if you felt like you never belonged with anybody, it is for one reason and one reason only. It's just because you're stuck with wrong people. Means Divine has a way to, how to say it. It is just that you were born into some circumstances and you're supposed to getting out of that circumstances to be with your own soul drive. What happens is, usually people feel this way are most likely a star seed from some other place, what placed into some kind of families where they never felt belonged, never felt understood, always misunderstood. Even if their family is not toxic, they never felt belonged. you know um, their family desires is different, their siblings, the way we talk, the conversations, the topics that we speak, it doesn't interest them, so there is nothing to talk about. Even if we talk about, it's different. We can never have, if you're somebody who felt like you just wanted to have that deep conversation regarding something, and there is nobody to talk about, and everybody's interest is very different, and even if you speak about things, they are not interested, and it felt like no matter what do you do, adjust, compromise and sacrifice, and try to be the person that you are with, it never feels right. So if you're someone like that, it just means that you are meant to be you. You are not supposed to be trying to be somebody else. Try to be more authentic. That is my suggestion. Because when we are with the people who are actually just like us, we do not need to pretend. We do not need to adjust. We do not need to compromise our belief system, our behavior, our thoughts, our actions, our likes and dislikes. That is why I'll give you a simple example. Um, Family is different, friendship is different, isn't it? If you had a choice to be born in a certain kind of a family after you are born, after, probably many people wouldn't choose their own family, but they refuse to acknowledge that they want to leave. That is how things work, because in their head, unless it's really toxic, people wouldn't want to leave that kind of family. But if they are asked, do you really want to again being born in that same family, many people will not agree. But when it comes to friendship, it is a mutual relationship where two people chooses to be there for each other platonically. That is the actual equal relationship. So if one person thinks that this person is right for me to be a friend, no matter what circumstances is, they will be together as a friends. That is why it's very important. So when we can do that with our own friends, it means if we don't feel belong with those people, whether it's family or siblings or friends, teachers, colleagues, anybody, it means we just need to change our place, change something in our life, to go and do something where we feel belonged. It is just that divine giving you a sign that is, look, this is where you are born into, this is your circumstances that you are born, but you don't belong there. If you felt belonged, you would be never dissatisfied with whatever you have in life. So if anything that comes within that feels like a dissatisfaction, whether it's regarding finance or regarding relationship, regarding these connections that we have with people, whether it's a platonic relationship or romantic relationship, anything, it shows up in one way or another. That feeling of, we don't belong here. Even if you're sitting among your classmates or friends, when you go out, if you have that kind of relationship with people, you always feel lonely, never understood, never, be supported by people. You are the one who always gives and gives, and they are like in a different world. It seems like a world apart with the people. It is just that divine wants you to see your own self-worth. We are not supposed to change ourselves for the people that we are surrounded with. We are supposed to choose us. We are supposed to recognize our own self-worth without an ego. It is not about the ego. Saying that I'm worth it more and moving on. No, it's not like that. If you don't felt understood, belonged with somebody, people won't even become friends with those kind of people. If you are somebody who values yourself, you wouldn't be friends with somebody who doesn't feel right to you, isn't it? That is how things work. This is exactly why we feel like, it's better to be alone than being with the wrong people. Sometimes it takes a lot of hurt to realize that, because many people feel like, it's not acceptable for those people to be alone. So they try to adjust and, be mingling with people, whether it's a family or friends, try to, not to be alone because they are scared of being alone. So that is not how it is. It is always better to be alone than being with the wrong people. It all starts with an understanding that, look, I'm a person. I am whatever I am. It's better to be what I am exactly I am than pretending to be somebody else to please somebody else to keep them in my life. So instead of doing that, when we try to embrace our truest self, no matter what we are, unless we are some kind of a cruel people or whatever, we are good as a people. As long as people goes, there are a lot of kind of different people out there. So let's not judge each other. As long as we are there for each other in a way that actually satisfies our life, it is good. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, when we follow our own heart, like choosing a new career or following up a new hobby or doing something that we never did, people usually lives a very routine life. So that is why when we break that routine and try to do something that actually makes us happy, we meet new people. That is why, if you suddenly, if you always wanted to, for example, if you're somebody who always wanted to learn pottery or painting, and after living for some time you feel like monotonous and everything, and suddenly you desire that you want to join the pottery class or drawing class or painting class, suddenly you meet people that actually interested in same thing you gel well with. That is how life is. So if you feel like you don't belong anywhere or something like that, it means you just need to see your worth and realize that you just need to change certain things in your life, and let that people that you can call them soul tribe come to our life to stay, with whom we don't need to pretend, we don't need to act differently, we don't need to be cautious about what we say, what we do, how we act. For example, A simple thing, if there is a group of 5 6 people who are friends, and all the friends are like, mm, it's just a one example that I'm giving. And for example, if just one person feels like whatever they eat, they are willing to pay for that, no matter whether it's a small amount or a big amount. But others are like, no, no matter who eats what, everybody let's just share. It doesn't go well with the third person, this person. So they suffocate a lot because of it, because internally they cannot accept that, because everybody eats different thing, and they often come together to celebrate their friendship and go out and have time. It's not like that they are bad people, no. It's just that sometimes this person doesn't eat much, or sometimes the other person takes a lot food and expensive food, and this person doesn't want to pay for the things that they have never eaten, that burden they don't want to take. This is just one example I'm giving. This is how it doesn't feels right. So it's always better to stand up for those kind of things and say very clearly, so see, I'm not ready to pay for somebody else eaten, let's pay our own bills. And it is not wrong, it's just that those kind of two people doesn't get along with each other. Instead of adjusting, either you have to adjust and be okay with it, and it will lead you to suffocation only anyway. It's better to speak up and say this is how it is. Just that people are different. If you're friends with such people who are willing to do the same thing that you want to do, you really don't have to adjust at all. Everybody is like, whatever they want to eat, they order, they pay, they have a good time, and then they separate. That is how friendship works. And balancing these kind of things is up to you. It's very personal, because just because somebody doesn't want to pay for what they eat doesn't mean that they're a bad person. So it's tricky. But if you're constantly surrounded by people that makes you feel like you never belong with them, always makes you feel like question your own identity, it is never good. Because we really don't need to use our energy to pretending to be somebody else, to please somebody else, to keep them in your life. That is why fake relationship, romantic relationship doesn't survive for long. Friendship is same way. This is exactly. It's just that we need to make certain things, change certain things in our life, to change our perspective that look, this is what I am. And the more we understand who we are and accept ourselves as we are, it's better for us, because we don't need to use our energy to keep somebody in our life, to provide them, to please them, to listen to them. If it is really negative for us, it's better that we let them go. And it's true that people don't want to be alone sometimes, and it's okay, but it's always better to find some hobbies or things to do to enjoy that lonely time alone than being with wrong people and feeling lonely among those people. It's better to be alone than being with wrong people. So changing workplace, changing where you live, changing a lot of things in life that will give you freedom from such toxicity is always best. It's just that some people always feel like they are made to they're born into some circumstances which is not allowing them to live big. But no, it's not like that. You have to believe that. Means if you have a desire in your heart, you have to stick to it. You never know. It only takes a chance meeting, a moment of miracle, a single second of meeting somebody, an opportunity that may come our path. Until then, it's just better that holding on to that kind of our own desire is best way of life. Because people, for example, there are a lot of people who are born into very adverse financial situation. If they were stuck in that kind of mentality, they would have never gotten out of it. They felt never belonged, because everybody in such circumstances are always talking about destiny and fate and limiting themselves. Most of them are. But if a person comes out of it and goes for education, or works hard, or makes a decision that they want to do it, take a leap of faith in something, universe always rewards those who are fearless. Means our heart always leads us in a right path. You just have to be fearless towards it. You just have to have a faith in it and have a lot of patience as well. And We cannot doubt ourselves. That is the point. We desire something, we trust it, we have patience, we just know that it's happening, and we keep waiting for that opportunity to come, preparing ourselves. Sometimes it can take a very short time, sometimes it can take a little bit while, but that is why people say those people who are succeeded in life, they always they never gave up. This is because they did that without giving up on their own desires. Because of hardship, people can be in a place of how this will work out, how that will work out. This is fate, this is destiny, and they try to adjust with their own life. It's up to you. And people who don't belong to certain people's category, it's because of the same thing. It's just that you need to move to somewhere else, maybe through a job. That is why sometimes people feel so suffocated, suddenly quit their job and do something else, and go travel somewhere else and do something, and they pick up something that they never did, because finally they broke out of that limitation that they themselves put on. So because of that, they met somebody new, because they showed courage. It might not work for everybody because it's very different for everybody, not to do any reckless things, but there are a lot of people who quit their job and start something new because they always wanted to do, and that job always made them miserable. Many people have breakthrough in life that way. So friendship is also like that. If so, what my suggestion is, if you're that lone wolf who always felt alone, never felt belong, never understood, start being there for yourself. Means falling in love with your own self makes you feel worthy of a lot of things. It increases self-worth. Means we are able to be in a place where we can accept a lot of good things in our life without rejecting. What happens with the inferiority complex, less self-worth, people without realizing reject a lot of good things. So falling in love with our own self is the best way. So we don't have to pretending to be somebody else, to be in someone else's life. We are who we are. Whoever is good for us, they will stay in our life anyway. So choosing us over others is best way. If it is toxic for us to choose somebody else over us, whether it's a platonic relationship or romantic relationship, whatever it is just that we just need to see our self-worth, and having a positive mindset towards ourselves, and choosing what our heart desires is the best way, because heart always leads us towards something that it's good for us. And if we develop a habit of listening to our intuition is something that suddenly a thought comes to our head that do this, do that. It can be impulse as well. It takes time sometimes to understand the difference between impulsive thoughts and intuition. It's just that intuition is something that you don't have any proof, but it from inside, gut feeling tells you do this, choose this, choose this. It is just that the divine telling us, pushing us to do that kind of thing. So it's just that you need more self-love, respecting yourself, trying to be authentic. Means being authentic means we trying to be ourselves, no pretense, no people pleasing, no compromising, no sacrificing. If it is yes, yes. If it is a no, no. Doing and saying things without a restriction of what others will think of me if I say this, what this person will react if I do this kind of things. Without that kind of things, if you're trying to be just ourselves, that is what is called being authentic. Means there is no pretense. There are people who do a lot of things because they feel like other people will judge them if they are like, for example, standing up to old people in a train. If somebody really don't want to do it, this is completely different. It's okay to do that for an old person. But there are a lot of people who do a lot of things just because they don't want to hear somebody else to tell them that they are selfish. Sometimes the other person is also selfish, and if we are behaving selfish towards them, and it's okay to do that. It is just that we are trying to protect ourselves from that selfishness that comes to us from others. That kind of a thing is okay. It's okay to stand up and give seat to older people. I don't mean that. But there are times, people who do things because they think they are deserving of it and make you feel guilty for not doing it. It's okay to not to do that always. For example, especially females are made to do a lot of things because they were supposed to do, they are meant to do because they are genders. Males are also, force these males to do certain things because you're supposed to do that, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. For example, telling a man to give up his seat for a woman just because she's a woman, it's his seat. He doesn't have to get up and sacrifice unless she is really sick and he is willing to do it voluntarily, you know, because that's his seat. So people telling that, you're a man, where is that kind of a behavior comes from? She's a woman, she has to sit. This kind of a toxic behaviors, people trying to do all of those things because they don't want others to, call them selfish. Being kind is good enough, but kindness is incomplete without you being kind to yourself. Our kindness cannot take us to our graveyard. It cannot become a weakness. Our kindness can ever become a weakness for somebody to take it for granted. We have to remember that. I'm talking about those people who are empathetic, because usually people who are really empathetic, kind, gentle, they are the one who sacrifice a lot without somebody else asking for it, because either they are trained to be that way since they were children. So being that extra empathetic person is a sign of a trauma. It is not a virtue. You have to remember that. These are the people who feel not belonged anyway because always they did give and not received it back, and they felt never understood by anybody. Always, their mentality is completely different. Their personality is different. They never met anybody that comes even close to what they are, and they know about it since they are children. They just gotten used to what they live. If you are somebody who felt that way, it's probably because you are a star seed and you are sent to that life. So you can break out of it and reach out to your soul tribe. If whether you believe or not, desiring is enough that you want to be with the people who, your soul tribe, where you don't have to pretend, where you don't have to use extra energy to gel well with them. Now, they will not criticize you, but appreciate you for who you are. For example, if an empath is surrounded by takers, it feels very suffocated. But if an empath is surrounded by people who are really empathetic towards them, it's an equal giving and taking. So it doesn't feel bad to be an empath if you're surrounded by all the empathetic people. So that is why friendship works, because it's equal give and take. That is all I wanted to say. It's sometimes it become hard because of the connections we think that we have with people. It's just an attachment. If we become a little detached with people and see exactly who they are, whether they are good people for us or bad for us, it becomes easier for us to make those decisions. And for an empath, and if you're such person who's like kinder and gentler, it's very important that not to let any person walk over us, putting very strict boundary with that any kind of a people, even with our own family. This is allowed, this is not allowed, this is not acceptable behavior, this is how it is. That is how we can be with the people who, even if they are takers, we have to be that stricter towards them to be okay with our own life, at least. Because even if they don't give the way we give, at least we stop ourselves from giving ourselves for free. Because, for example, people who are like INFJs, ENFJs, maybe ISFP, people who are like that, who are emotionally very in tune with themselves, very deep emotions, they may sit down and counsel someone else and feel great about it. By the end of the day, they will feel drained about it, but listening to everybody's problem. But either they won't open up themselves with somebody else because they feel like it's a burden to other people, or In the past, whenever they tried to do that, people never listened. They felt like they were a burden if they open up to somebody else. It's because you're with wrong people. Try to, if an INFJ or ISFP, ENFJ, if they made somebody similar, it's easier to be with each other. So being that extra empathetic, kind, sacrificing is a sign of a trauma. It's not a virtue. It feels great only because as a child you wanted somebody to listen to your problems, to heal you, to comfort you, and to understand you, to give you that counsel, that guidance you never received. So you actually long for that. Since you never received it, as an adult, it becomes a habit that you end up doing that to somebody else. It's just a sign that you need that as well. So if you're somebody like that, it's better to keep your energy to yourself than draining yourself somebody who would never do that back to you. It's up to you because it feels great, but you have to remember that you have to be there for yourself as well, isn't it? If someone else is not going to be there for you the way you need it, it's our job. It's our job to be there for ourselves. So having that extra, sacrificing kind of a thing is not a virtue. Even if somebody calls you, you are the greatest person, it doesn't mean anything if that keeps happening. And when you need somebody to listen to give you that emotional support, do you have that person in your life? 1,000 times you may have heard, your friend complaining about you or their own life, and you listen, you patiently do every single thing, you support. Will that thing be returned to you if you are in need of that? You must remember that it is not a selfishness, it is a self-preservation. Because imagine if some person has a lot of money and it keeps giving to everybody whoever asks for it, one day it will deplete. And if you ask that kind of a help from those kind of people, will they be able to give it back? You must also remember that when it comes to money, people will be very careful about it, isn't it? Our energy is also like that. It's very important that we don't share our energy that easily with selfish people or takers, I would say. It is not because they are not deserving of it. It is because that we need our energy more because there is nobody else to give that to us. It's a simple fact that stems from love towards us, not because of the hate, not because of any other reason. It is just that an acknowledgement that I need my energy. I cannot use it on somebody else. I can use it on healing myself, making myself happy, than sacrificing my time, energy, and making somebody else happy when they will never do that for me, no matter what, even if I ask them. So that generosity, we should show that to ourselves. Why I'm saying this is these kind of the people who never feel belonged. This is all small things that shows up in life. Those people who never feel belonged. Maybe this kind of a people who probably look at the sky and they feel like maybe they came from somewhere, from the star system. Maybe I came from there. There are a lot of people who feel that, right? It's because you don't feel understood. You never felt belonged. So this is my suggestion that try to fall in love with your own self. It's because there is a deep-rooted trauma, perhaps, that never been felt loved, supported, devoted to you when you are ready to be devotee to somebody else, whether it's a platonic relationship or a romantic relationship. The one thing these kind of people can do is devoted to themselves. If you're such a person, prioritizing yourself is very good thing. It is not a it is not a selfishness. It is just that I'm worthy of my own love. That is the understanding. A statement that we can tell that to ourselves. I'm worthy of my own life. I am worthy of my own love because nobody was here to love me the way I needed to be. But I can love myself the way I needed to be. So I love myself. A simple understanding. It is not a selfishness. That's all. I hope you understand. It's always better to choose ourselves with the people who are mm, never willing to understand us. Instead of blaming them, we are just adjusting our attitude towards life and prioritizing our own self. That's all. Instead of blaming others, we are just seeing this situation as okay, they are how they are. Now, what I'm supposed to do? Let's love myself more. That's all. I hope you understand.